Hello friends, welcome to my channel to grab some excited content and knowledge on computers. This short course give you brief knowledge on computer fundamentals, and this is very important for those students or candidates whose educational background is nil in computers. There are a lot of candidates coming from remote area. They have zero knowledge of computer and they wanted to make their career or build their career in IT world. So from where to start, how to start, that is a very big challenge for them to understand. And this is what I would say is a starting point for any candidates, any users who wanted to make their career in IT. So I am going to teach you a fundamental of computers part 1, which will give you basic understanding of what a computer is. Then in part 2 I'll go with some hands-on sessions which will explore more into detail of the computers. But yes friends, this is very much oriented and moves around complete professional course. This course is not going to be very much on side of writing the definition of computer, writing the definition of devices, remembering the full form of RAM, CPU, etc. It will not cover you on the making binaries, addition and subtractions. No, this course will be moves around how you can quickly grab information about basic computers, and gradually you will start learning on the things which every IT industry practices. So without wasting of time, let's start. What I'm going to cover in this part 1. Part 1 basically covers about the computers, right? And as I said, I'm not going to tell you about the definition of the computer. I'll show you what all computer is. Hardware, what all hardwares, what are the major hardwares which is being used, not as your personal laptop, personal computer, more towards how the company use computers, a hardware, to process their information and data. Also we will cover what is operating system as a software. What is the difference between client and server, right? So going to start with what computer is. Let's move on. Next slide. Great. So if you see on my screen, what I did, I just carve out the major component of computers to showcase you that these are the devices which is being primarily used in IT companies. If you see first, this is known as computer, right? Computer is not one device. It's a combination of the devices. It's combination of their peripherals. What is the peripherals? The device which is connected with them, right? So if you see, it combines a monitor, mouse, keyboard, CPU, all those said as a computer. And if you see, during the beginning of days, this is how our earlier version of computer looks like, and gradually it gets changed. In last couple of decades we have a lot of changes happening to the computer, from mainframe or big computer to desktop computer to laptop computer, and then nowadays we have palm tops, everything moving on your hands. Yeah, so this is computer. If somebody asks what is computer, then just imagine in your mind computer looks like this. It has monitor, it has keyboard, it has mouse, it has CPU. Then what other major component used in IT world? That is a laptop, and this is called as a personal computer, right? So personal laptop, basically why this is laptop, it put on your lap. You can sit and put it anywhere on lap, and that's the reason it says as a laptop, but it functions as a similar as a desktop. Then when you go in organization, you will see a printer. Whatever content coming onto your screen and you would like to take as a print on the paper, then you will give instruction from here or command from here to the printer, and printer take out the content whatever coming into screen to the paper, and that is called a printer. We have also, there are few scanners, and what does it, right? Scanner means it scans something, it's make a copy of something. So sometimes you see this machine also as an individual machine, or sometimes it is connected with a printer. So printer also work as a combination of scanner, or maybe in some organization you will see as a scanner. For example, if your boss say, boss, I want this booklet need to be put on my laptop, how will you do that, right? So there is a way that you will put that booklet inside this, scan it, and when you do the scan, there is a wire connected with your laptop which will transmit data from here to your laptop, and that's how you will take it. Today a use of scanner is happening in a lot of ways, right? It's not limited with the scanning device. Your mobile itself is a work as a scanner, right? There is a small software coming on top of it. You can take a picture of it, do the scan and share it. That's how it works. But yes, of course this is one of the major components. And then we have a mouse and keyboard. When we have a desktop, we need this. Without keyboard we cannot operate a desktop, but in laptop the keyboard is inbuilt. If you see, this is the inbuilt keyboard, and similarly here it is an inbuilt mouse. But for few of the people, if it is not convenient, then they connect this mouse separately here and work with them. Yeah, so this is what a computer and its supporting device. So just make thought in your mind how computer looks like. If somebody say, I need computer, I want computer, bring this computer, put this computer, get the laptop, where is the printer, how it's look like, then you should find all these devices in this shape and size. Okay, good. So moving next, hardware. What is the hardware, right? Hardware is basically a physical device which is connected to the computer and help in do all the calculations, all the storage, all the multiplications, all the manipulations, right? So this is what the hardware is. A lot of hardware for the computer, but I just put it as a core hardware which is really important for any computer. Starting with the RAM, right? This is one of the hardware. This hardware is put it in these slots, right? If you see, this is the green plate which you see on the screen, that is called as a motherboard. And here there are multiple slots where you plug this RAM, right? And RAM comes into different sizes based on how strong you want to build your computer. Your personal laptop will have limited RAM, but your organizational computer have lot of RAMs that need to be used for high computation of data. Similarly, we have a CPU, right? If you see here, this box is called a CPU. That does not mean this entire box is CPU. CPU basically looks like this, and it is plugged in here, and that is put it here. right? So that's I wanted to give you a actual feel of the devices, where it is, how it's look like, and this is what the CPU is. Today you see laptop coming in so many processor versions, right? Core i7, i5, i9, lot of things are coming. So that is the CPU model, CPU version, which use high data processing. If it is more so CPU is used to process your data, right? And as much as your CPU is strong, you can calculate as higher end of the data. For weather forecasting, for satellite launch, you need much more strong CPU, and that is one of the key part of any computer. Then third part is coming as a hard disk. This is nothing but as just a simple storage device. It stores your data here, right? And this is connected with your laptop, this is connected with your desktop, this is connected with your server room to store the data. If hardware is not there, when power goes, all the information into the machine that vanish, and that's the reason we need a storage device. We can put some data into the temporary hardware. What is a temporary hard disk? Temporary hard disk, RAM. This is memory, right? But basically these are a memory which used to store the data. This is a permanent memory, this is a temporary memory. RAM is a temporary memory. When power goes, whatever the information kept inside, that all gone. But when power goes, whatever information you kept inside hard disk, that will not go. That remain as is. When powers come, when you boot your machine, when you start your machine, all the information is as is. So this is what we call hardware, the major hardware. When you are going to submit a request, or when you are going to build a server, these three things, key things you have to keep in mind. How much RAM you need for your server, how much processor you need for your server. When I say processor, which means CPU, central processing unit, it's also called as a processor. So how much processor you need it here. And the third thing, what storage capacity you feel that your server should hold, because it's completely depend on the application which you are going to install, the software which you are going to install on your computer, right? What information that it manipulate, calculate and store it. And that's the reason there are three main components I put it here: RAM, CPU and storage. Okay, so there are a lot of hardware. I am not going to go with each and every hardware, but yes, this is very mandatory things that you have to keep remember. That hardware, RAM, CPU and hard disk, that is indeed needed whenever you go to buy a laptop, when you go to buy desktop, or when you buy big servers. Okay, well, moving next, I'll talk as a operating system as a software, right? We said that the hardware. Now there is another component known as the software. What the software is? Don't you feel that software is something? Why it's called a software? No? Okay. Nobody has answer. I'll tell you. Software is something which you cannot touch and feel. It's a complete logical programming things which is bundled into a application that is called as software. If you see on your mobile, there are a lot of softwares. Everything is a software. WhatsApp is a software, Facebook is a software, YouTube is a software, right? Those all are the apps which is called as software. And here we are talking about operating system as a software. What is the operating system? The name itself, it's describe something is operating, right? That means the thing which is running on something, which is operating something, that is called as an operating system. For example, you have a bus, there is a driver, right? There is a engine into it, right? So how the bus run? Bus is a hardware, right? It has body, it has wheel, it has lot of things, right? So that's only hardware. But how it operate? There is an engine who operate it, right? And that's what here in computer world also we have hardware, which is called your computer. Then on top of it there is an operating system, which is called as a software, and it could be in multiple flavor. And why there are multiple flavor? Because there are a lot of companies who is building different kind of the operating system to handle the machines, to handle the instruction, to handle the application. We have Windows, we have Linux, we have iOS, we have Android, lot of things, lot of operating system we have, and all the operating system installed on the hardware. Without operating system, your hardware is completely, a dead machine. It just, you can circulate the power on it, but it will not do anything. So once you have a hardware, then you have to put operating system on top of it, okay? And that operating system will enable your hardware to run, and this will not give you a complete, I would say, complete set of application, but yes, that is limited to basic minimum things which is needed for any computer. Like when you install the operating system, it installed date application, it installed some browsers, it installed some media players, it installed some battery management software, and that is a bundle with operating system, right? And then on top of operating system, what do? You install some application to run your business, run the company business. For example, you heard SAP, right? They installed SAP on top of it. SAP cannot be directly installed on the hardware. That must be installed on the operating system. And once the SAP is installed, the application is installed, then as a user you go log into your laptop, launch the application, do the work, extract the report, generate the monthly review, all the things you will do. So operating system is a software. That's the reason I mentioned OS as a software. But this has a limited set of application which enables your hardware to run. This is not a business application. In IT world you can say this is not business application. Operating system is always enable your hardware to run, and on top of operating system you install business application to run your business. For end user, when they have a laptop, they have a mobile is also a hardware. On top of it there is a operating system which is installed as an Android, and then on top of it there are multiple applications which is installed like WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, so many applications you will see. And then as a user you use it for your entertainment purpose, for your calculation purpose, for your office purpose. But the core thing is, here we are talking in this slide is an operating system. And operating system, again I am saying, this enable your hardware to run, hardware to move. Without operating system, everything is dead. And what all operating system in market today? Windows, Linux, iOS, Android, many more. And every operating system have their own version. It started from long back, from Windows 95, 98. Today we are running with Windows 2019. Same way we have Linux, lot of version we have in the market. Yeah. Well. Okay. So moving next. There is a one major component here. I would like to teach you client versus server. What is a client and what is a server? Basically, client, if you say in layman language, is something which needs something, which requests something. And what is the server? Server is something which serves to the client, which gives something to the client, which gives what client request, and that is what it's called server. And what is a client server architecture? Client server architecture means there will be a client separate and there will be a server separately. They run both their environment separately, and when client needs something, they will go to the server. They ask some information from the server. Server do all the calculation and then result it back. So in your office, when you see you are working on desktop, you are working on laptop, then you are client, right? And from your client, when you launch some application, for example browser, Chrome browser, right? From there you type google.com. What happened? Your request from here go to Google server and return the page of the Google homepage. So in every organization, if you see, there is a client server working model, and server is completely isolated from client area. You have office, you have cabin, you have common area, you have common workplace. Everywhere the person is sitting doing their work, they are just using their client machine. Whatever the information they are seeking from server, and server is completely isolated. I have given here some few picture of the server, how it's look like in IT world. It doesn't look your server like this, right? Ideally you can make this machine as a server, but in big company it really need a big server, a big place, a big hardware, and that's the reason complete your hardware, your server room is completely isolated, completely a separate room with all the security and safety measurement will be considered there. Okay, so when you imagine how server looks like, just imagine your server looks like this, right? And here it is not one server, this is basically a rack, right? This is the rack where you can put multiple server here, 1 server, 2 server, 3 server, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, likewise. And here if you see, this engineer went to the server room, do some check, if something is not working, and then come out. This room is completely restricted, nobody can go until unless they are authorized to go there. So please bear in mind, when you will get some training to get the job as a professional job, you have to follow this rule. You have to set in your mind that how the company data center looks like, how the server looks like, what is your role, how you work, where is server, how to connect to the server. A lot of things will come, right? So that's the reason you have to think on this what the client and server model is and how it generally works. Okay, so that's all I'll cover in part 1. I'll come up with the part 2 soon. Hope this video will help you to understand about the computer and its fundamental. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Please like and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to click bell icon to get latest notification. And see you in next video. Bye. Have a good day ahead everyone.